operations. I am proud to say that as of the close of business of February 2022, Emyoga circles countrywide had a collective savings of, as the chairman has said, 60.32 billion shillings generated solely by themselves, which demonstrates the community's own effort in building the rural resource base. Rwampara Women Entrepreneurs Circle, for example, has a saving of 69 million. Ginger Market Vendors Circle has generated 77 million in savings so far, while Kyotera Produce Dealers have put 185 million in savings. I must applaud the board of directors and the management of Uganda Microfinance Micro Support Center for executing the program with diligence, and want to encourage that more and more circles are supported to finishing it, to shining examples. No doubt, the late Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa would have been a very proud man for this achievement, but we are here to represent him. As we all know, he was very passionate about financial inclusion and worked hard to see that the Micro Support Center extended its footprint further to grassroots. He passionately spoke about development of cottage industries, you hear that, through which the financially excluded lot, such as the poor, youth, and the person with disabilities, can be included. A year before his demise, he undertook extensive research in the slum and the ghetto communities around Kampala to understand their plight and work together with the board and the management to find solutions to the socio-economic challenges which those people face. Dr. Kisama Mugerwa was an extremely valuable asset to government and the country at large. That one we have already said. And I'm encouraging the new board and encouraging the current management. Now, I don't want also an economy in which the rich are rich, the poor are poor. I don't know if you understand me. I don't want to develop Uganda because I have seen some problems, that's why I do not mention them for diplomatic reasons, where the rich are really rich and the poor are really poor. Have you understood me? I'm inviting you to fight that trend. But if we are not too careful, if we do not support the weak, your country will be skewed. I can tell you within another 10, 20 years. As long as some of us are still here, I'm not saying that we shall be all equal. No, please, don't. You see these fingers? They are not equal. But they are very important. Each is very important. If they cut off one today, you will see how you are going to hold things. We may not be equal, but we must not have extreme poverty in some corners of this country, and then you have got others who are so rich, they even don't know how to count their richness. That's a very bad thing. Now I'm talking as a politician who wants to see this country growing stronger and stronger, but virtually every citizen is also growing and enjoying the comforts of our struggle. We dearly miss him, but we carry on his legacy of ensuring that poor Ugandans are supported to access to affordable financial services for socio-economic development. As we continue with the program, it does reflect on the principles of financial inclusion, which have the power to bridge the disparities between the rich, and the poor, and offer unimaginable opportunities for poor Ugandans to be on board into the monetary economy. You have heard the parish development model. You know, for us, NRM, we work from different directions to get our objective. That parish development model is tackling the other issue I'm telling you, inequality. That inequality, I know, call it extreme, let me qualify it, extreme inequality. That program, that's what it is, part of the thing that is trying to sort out. We want, even looking at it from a selfish point of view, me as your minister in charge of this economy, when you have got members of your society, they are scratching their head to raise the shilling, some go on an empty stomach, school fees become school fees, and then you start getting even other consequential things like now people becoming envious of each other. Crime goes up because you have, I don't have. You will remember, I don't know how many of you were here when Amin was being deposed. Who was here in 1979? Hands up. Oh, very few. Very few. Then you don't know. Now let me tell you. When Amin was being chased away by the Tanzanians, combined together with our Bayekera, including my President Museveni, people were not bothered about assets of anybody. That's why they came and looted, destroyed, burnt, because they never felt that they are part and parcel of the economy. They didn't feel that, leave alone being part and parcel of the country called Uganda. So please, Microfinance Support Center and our allies, let's work as hard as possible to bring everybody into the money economy. President Museveni, he presents it differently, but we are talking the same language. For him, he does not want it now. People who work for only the stomach. They will call it ekida kyonka. But me, I'm looking at it now at, as your Minister for Finance and Economic Development. When you have got 39% of your homesteads only working for merely to eat, abanange, kintu kibi, because they will pull you down. They will pull you down on your statistics in terms of levels of development. And it is that point of development, assuming the politics are being done well, that will invite more and more and more people to come and invest in your country. The more people you invite, the more money they bring in, the more development they do, the richer everybody gets, the happier that everybody becomes. Finally, you know, when you have a bit of money, you can do many things. When you fall sick, you can run to the hospital quickly. You can eat the right type of food. At the end of the day, you will spend more years on earth here. And for us, we're working to ensure that the life expectancy of every Ugandan should be not less than 70 years. That's our target. Not less than 70 years. But you can't reach there when you don't have money, when you cannot be treated when you are sick, when the country is not moving on well, and part of stabilization is savings. Savings. As we continue with the program, let us reflect on the principles of financial inclusion, which has the power to bridge the disparities between the rich and the poor and offer unimaginable opportunities for poor Ugandans to be awarded into the, to be included among the monetary economy. In order to sustain the circles we have created, I challenge Microfinance Micro Support Center to continue championing financial inclusion and promoting a savings culture among Ugandans. I wish you very fruitful deliberation, and I wish you good life, happy life, so that you can live to 70 to 100 years. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Honorable, let me request you to stay up. We just have two things to do. Number one, we are going to launch the Savings Challenge. Oh. And then, before you leave, we know you have a flight to catch. We would like you to watch a short video of the late Dr. Kisamba Mugirwa. Let me welcome the board chair, also the ED of Microfinance Support Center. Honorable, I think you'll use my mic. So let me request you to come down so we can sign on the... Also, let me welcome the PSST, Secretary to the Treasury, and also Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance, to come and join. Hashtag economics that works. Let us put our signature. Honorable, I think you sign when you are showing the media which side here. Yeah. Is that the signature that confirms our loans? Okay. So let's sign. Very good. All the money people sign fast. Today is 29th. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Economics that works. Kumbe, that's the signature. Okay. Thank you. Let me welcome the board chair. We are saving starting today. The Honorable has said, even if you give him 1 million shillings, he will at least save what? 200,000 shillings. Excuse me. Is that the... that is the signature to be on the banknotes. Yeah. 29th. Don't we love that signature? We love that signature. We love it. The Executive Director of Microfinance Support Center. Some of you practice what they call kenzonomics. Ofune 15 no savinga ku mutwalo. Akakaga ate no kalya. So please stop kenzonomics. It doesn't work. We'll now have a photo moment. Yes. We have one with the mask and one without. The one without. So we'll have another one to put in our albums. Economics that works. Social distance. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The Emyoga Savings Challenge has officially been launched. And let me ambush the PS here to come quickly. One or two words. The good thing you explain to us all the time about how economics works. So let me ambush you about our savings culture, and Chamagiro will also have one or two things to ask you. But for you as the PS, you are literally at the top. You are the one who tells us, use this, don't use this. What do we need to do to save more?
Okay. You have to disobey the Pankson law, which dictates that the expenditure tends to increase with the income. Once you disobey that, you will be able to save. Let the expenditure either stay the same or reduce with your income. Usually when we get more money, we want to change also the way we live. Some food stops tasting well, We want to change even the eating places. And it's that, discipline, which saving is discipline, basically. Yeah.
What's that law called?
Pankson law.
The Pankson law. Some of you, all of a sudden, when you get money, beans are smelling. Maybe it's a bit beans, yeah? Yet you've been eating the same. Thank you so much, Secretary to the Treasury. A big round of applause. I request us to turn our eyes and ears to the screen. We're going to watch a video, a tribute video to the late Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa.
Dr. Wilberforce Kisamba Mugerwa was appointed board chairperson of the Microfinance Support Center in February 2018. His appointment came at a time when the center was developing a new strategic plan 2019-2024 that emphasized financial inclusion, enhancement of household income, and promotion of savings among lowly Ugandans. A 2021 report from Uganda Bureau of Statistics indicated that 8.3 million Ugandans live in poverty. Before his demise, Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa conducted extensive research in slums and ghetto communities within Kampala, where majority of the urban poor live. His aim was to understand the challenges in developing the slum economy so as to offer effective microfinance solutions.
As you may know, I've been the chairperson of the National Planning Authority. Recently, I was assigned the opportunity to take care of the Microfinance Support Center. As the chairperson has rightly put, we are not alone on the stage. There are quite a number of other institutions who are financing different programs and there are different initiatives. But what is important for all to understand is that we are focusing on moving social and economic transformation of this country to ensure that we get rid of poverty. We cannot deal with the people who are not in the monetary economy. When every time you wake up every morning, the soap, the toothpaste, the soda, and the rest all are demanding for money. So our first focus is to look for those people who are poor but active, who are willing to find something to work upon in order to get out of that poverty.
Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa oyo kitaffe eyatuva ku maaso twamusisinkana mu mbeera bweti nti mukulu Semitego yamutukwasaganyizaako yamutukonekitingako okuva ku community
emabegako awo nga ffe twatandika dde omulimu gwaffe twafuna obuyambi okuva waliwo omukwano gwange yaŋŋamba waliwo omukulu bamuyita Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa naye ayamba nnyo abantu abali mu ghetto abalina ebintu bye bakola eby'amaanyi. Omukulu oyo yali mulungi nnyo n'atuyita ne tubeera mu meeting ku Microfinance Support Center ne tunywa n'akacyayi ne tukanywa.
Yali muntu w'amaanyi nnyo ku bantu baffe ab'omu community eno kuba ffe ebibiina nga bina almost yabikwatako.
Ye musajja era yayogera ekintu n'akituukiriza. Ye musajja yali asoose okumpa essuubi mu gavumenti.
N'atusobozesa okuba nga atuyita ku Microfinance day to day, mujje tulabe ne tugendayo ne tusobola okuba nga tutambula naye.
Tusinkana bannabyabufuzi bajja ne batulambula wano naye tewali tukiddako. Ye musajja yekka yasooka okujja n'agamba buli kimu kigenda kukyuka, Mukama nga mubeezi waffe era n'atandikira okutukyusa.
Naye nga Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa yali ategeera omuntu w'omu ghetto,
omuntu ava mu community eyo eri high class najja mu ghetto n'atuyamba. Singa abasinga bakola bwe batyo, singa tuli wala.
So bwe mukola obulungi nabo bakola ki? Tutunuuliddewo.
Omugenzi Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa teyali mukwano gwange kyokka naye yali muganda wange. Kisamba Mugerwa twalabagana okuva mu mwaka gwa 1961 awo nga tusomye Wampeewo junior school gye twakolera junior mu kiseera ekyo.
I consider myself as the most unprivileged person. I've not worked with him for a long time. God deprived me of that opportunity to work with Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa, a celebrated person in this country.
Kyali kirungi nnyo okubeera nti Kisamba bwe yava mu National Planning Authority ate yabeera ne bamuwa chairman w'ekintu ekyo. Era mmanyi yali atandise okulaga nti ajja kuba wa mugaso kinene nnyo eri ekitongole ekyo.
Yalina omutima omumalirivu nga bw'agamba nti ngenda kukola kino akikola n'akituukiriza. Namwewuunyaako we yayingirira ebyobufuzi. Embeera yali mbi nnyo kubanga ate yali mu kibiina kya DP mu kiseera ekyo. So nga ate mu kiseera ekyo UPC abaana baali bakambwe nnyo ng'olaba nti omuntu atalina mutima mugumu teyali kikoze.
Kakati okukwataganya ennyo ate nno naye ne tuddamu okukwataganya. Olutalo bwe luggwa lwa 79 olw'okuggyako Amiini. Then ne waddawo ebyobufuzi. N'asalawo okwesimbawo ewaabwe Luweero ne tukampeininga mukunkume ne tuwangula.
He was a very highly trained person. He was an experienced person and wanted to use that expertise to help Ugandans. We shall further that one up to the grassroots.
Ekyenzijukira ekinene nnyo mu lw'obulungi bwe yali alina mu kwagala abantu n'okulaba nti basituka n'aleeta ekintu ky'entandikwa.
He would bring some young men and women, educate them from their physically, first change their mind, after changing their mind, and then shows them how they can practically do it on his farm. This is a great thing that Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa did.
Kugamba nga alina omutima ogwo ogwagala okulaba nti abantu bano oli alina kaakola anaakagaziya atya tegamba embeera ey'engeri eyo kale oyo yali Kisamba Mugerwa yali ayagaliza.
Yes. Another big round of applause to the late Dr. Wilberforce Kisamba Mugerwa. Man, a bigger round of applause to even the family of Doctor. I don't know about you, but when I die, I want my family to say there lived a great man in this family. I think that's the legacy we all want to work for. You know, I hear the stories right now about, for example, the late Right Honorable Jacob Olanya, but say, well, we can have a conversation about other things on another day, but he was a good man. He lived a good life. He did well for his community. And Dr. Kisamba Mugerwa embodies a man passionate about not just his family, but his community and his country. Isn't that incredible? Let's give him another round of applause. For the benefit of those who were not able to comprehend Luganda, his friends, and I see a table with his friends over there. Let's give them another round of applause. Yes. You know, the former finance minister, Gerald Sendaula, says he joined politics at a time when it was incredibly hard. During the time of UPC, when they won the war, he stood and came to help those who were literally, we call them Muntu Wawansi. There was even a word that was coined, Muntu Wawansi. And there was a huge debate for us in the media. Why are you saying Muntu Wawansi? You say Muntu Wabulijo. Because Muntu Wawansi defined a very beat person. But the doctor turned that right side up. Very passionate about uplifting the young people. I cried too when I saw the young people from Eco Youth Circle passionately speak about him. At the beginning of this event, I said, Joe Louis said, you only live once, and if you live it right, once is enough. May that be the message we carry from here. When we leave, let's go and serve our people. In a few minutes, we'll have a conversation on how to leverage savings so we can empower these groups, these people that are down there, like someone said. But we're going to look at the slum and ghetto economy that the doctor researched extensively on and see how we can leverage microfinance to spur development at that level. But before we do that, let me welcome our friends all the way from Amuria district. Where are they? They call themselves the Emyoga Performing Artists. Hey, stage name EPA. Emyoga Performing Artists Circle from Amuria district. Welcome. Let's give them a round of applause as they come to the stage. As we get the Emyoga Circle ready, I'd like to also recognize the presence of Gerald Otim, who is the CEO of Ensibuko. Otim is over there. Yes, and I recognize him because Otim spearheaded the digitizing of all these circles. So I want to thank Microfinance Support Center for leveraging fintechs, to be able to encourage more savings. More and more fintechs are getting into this kind of thing where even with a feature phone, you're able to do what your smartphone is doing. They are helping people save, they're helping people withdraw, they're helping people. They are helping people make sure that they grow their money. So thank you, team, and continue doing the work you're doing.
This is a team from Amuria district. We are going to present a song titled, "We Are Pride for Our Government." We thank our government.
Ibeta poke poloni la kwa puono Uganda. Iboyoto dai nikere egogomore inunu. Ebeto moke poloni lo Uganda ija ena paina. Iboyoto dai boyi omame ibore. Iboyoto tena iboyi asipoke polona kwa pu. Iboyoto dai boyi omame ibore jang. Emyoga idumoni ane o Uganda. Iboyoto dai boyi omame ibore jang. Na disi da kora pugani ono Uganda. Iboyoto dai boyi omame ibore jang. Eja ikwara polo Uganda ya umuseve na polo. Iboyoto dai boyi omame ibore jang jang. Irotina lauti rotini eja ikwana kimito no chalo. Iboyoto dai boyi omame ibore jang jang. Asipoke polo ni lo Uganda ya so ede boyoto. Iboyoto dai boyi omame ibore jang. Emyoga wanyoni adoloto no chalo yi emoyoto dai boyi omame ibori jangi jam igongeta soma pugani akorote nita disida eboyoto dai boyi omame ibori na.
You're still live on 98 FM UBC Radio. We are looking at the launch of Emyoga Circle, the Savings Challenge, and also commemorating 20 years of Microfinance Support Center. Some of you who don't know what a Microfinance Center does, it is a provision of loans to institutions where is the key role of this Microfinance Support Center. It aims at financial services which are extended to the rural poor through wholesale retail loans to microfinance institutions and other partner organizations for the purpose of on lending to their clients. The loans that support the legal entities engaged in trade and service. Also, agriculture has been accommodated and other related activities along the value chain. They are looking at production, productivity enhancement, agro-processing, asset acquisition, marketing and construction of farm and warehousing. The institutions specifically target for the loans are savings and credit cooperative organizations, call them SACCOs, area cooperative enterprises, microfinance institutions, corporate unions, producer and marketing cooperatives, and small and media enterprises. Microfinance Support Center has created about 12 zone offices in order to provide a fair distribution of services throughout the country. These provide a number of loan products to institutions. Most of you may be wondering, what kind of loans does a Microfinance Support Center give to the people of Uganda? Some of the loans include agricultural loans, which is extended to support productivity enhancement and asset acquisition, bulk purchasing, and also construction of farms. Those of you who are involved in agriculture, it is time that you utilize this opportunity that the government has extended to you. If you're in any of the circles or microfinance institutions, this is the right time that you join and develop with Uganda. The other second loan that the Microfinance Support Center gives, they call it environmental loan. This is extended to support environmental and clean energy products, production of solar, biogas, energy saving stoves, and agroforestry. The third is a special interest group loan. This is extended to women, youth, persons with disabilities, the elderly persons, and weak circles. The fourth is a commercial loan. Funding is extended to institutions for onward lending to their members engaged in trade and services. In case you're there, you have a lender, money lender, you can also be part of this microfinance support center, and you're given this money on what they call commercial loan. But also they have what they call small and medium enterprises loan. This is the product that targets businesses with a minimum annual sales turnover of Uganda of 50 million Uganda shillings for agriculture related and over 70 million for non-agriculture related. Let's go back to Hotel Africana and join the live coverage. This is UBC on 98 FM. Ampaire Amonotega is my name. We keep inspiring, educating, and informing you, the people of Uganda.
Once. Jaho mukuru wa mugamba lwaki tebakolayo ministry ya saako okanyiga waawo mpola mpola wamanindi you must very good be bano ba big boys Eco Youth Development Group. Recognize the presence of Ambassador Professor Semakula Chiwanuka. Thank you, Professor, for coming. Batali mukola speech. Katie. We allow the Honorable to leave to other duties. From your homes, your offices, those of you online that are watching us via UBC and NBS, thank you so much for staying with us. Today, we are not just talking about the life of Dr. Kisamba Mugera. We're also commemorating 20 years of financial inclusion. The doctor was very passionate about the slum and ghetto economy. And we're going to go into that now. I've met many a man who say they are muntu wa wansi, but this guy has taken me to some places and I'm like, indeed, oli muntu wa wansi. I thought it was just a brand name, but Bambi is a muntu wa wansi. He can pick up a conversation with anyone, yeah, in any situation. And he's the man that wakes up every morning to speak and preach the gospel of saving, of how to grow your money. First of all, make it, grow it, and also spend it or save it. He's also a personal friend of mine, Mr. Omuntu wa wansi Ghetto Andrew. Welcome. Ghetto Andrew will be moderating a panel discussion on leveraging microfinance to spur the slum and ghetto economy.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, just say good morning to your neighbor, Kwanzaa. We are all called. Just say good morning to your neighbor. Turn to your neighbor and say good morning. For us, my name is Andrew Chiamagero. Yes, I believe in Omuntu wa wansi so much, and I believe in the policy of saving, because I believe the money you've saved today will save you tomorrow. That is my biggest conversation, and I'm very passionate about it. We're going to be discussing about leveraging the financial inclusion in the ghetto areas to spur them. And on my panel, I have Dr. Fred Muhumuza. Let's clap for Dr. Fred Muhumuza as he finds his way here. Dr. Fred Muhumuza is an expert economist with a PhD from the University of Manchester in the UK. And he has been involved in development policy research, analysis, formulation, review for over 20 years now, with a parallel teaching career at the Makerere University. And from 2006 to 2014, he worked as an economic advisor to the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Prior to that, Dr. Muhumuza worked as a research fellow at the Economic Policy Research Center, and also served as a senior management position at KPMG and Financial Services Deepening here in Uganda. He's highly analytical, envisions Uganda as a prosperous country in terms of socio-economic development, peaceful with good governance and full of equal opportunities for all of studies, work and enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Muhumuza with us. Again, together with us today we have Dr. Rachel Midra. Let's clap for Dr. Rachel. She makes her way here. I love it when ladies are doctors, and she's a doctor in philosophy from the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa. And she has a Master's of Arts in Money, Banking and Finance from Labank University in the UK, and Bachelor's of Business Administration from Makerere University Business School. She sits on the board of Uganda Security Exchanges, and where she chairs the Business Conduct Committee. She's also a member of board of Audit Committee at the USE. She has done consultancy works for several national and international projects, and she has over 25 published and unpublished research papers. I'm looking forward to the unpublished articles as well, and numerous awards to her name. Away from her corporate life, Dr. Midra is an active Rotarian and fascinated by travel, art, design, gymnastics, and acrobatics. Again, today, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. James Cash. Mr. James W. Cash, who happens to be the head of research at BRAC, an independent evaluation and research cell in Africa. Let's clap for Mr. Cash. Mr. Cash manages research and knowledgeable management operations and administration across the BRAC countries in Africa. Among his research topics are livelihood for adolescents in youth, family market value chain, and the microfinance for small entrepreneurs. He has a Master's of Social Science in Political Economy of Development in Sub-Saharan Africa and a Master of Social Science in Political Science from University of France and Bangladesh, respectively. Ladies and gentlemen, our conversation has started. Be a part of this conversation online. While you're in here, if you find something intriguing, interesting, tweet it, and let's be a part of the conversation to the diaspora. Okay. Now, this is where it all starts. First of all, I want to thank the Microfinance Support Center. Let's clap for them for 20 years being in existence. I am one of the beneficiaries of Microfinance Support Center through my wife. She applied for something and into the poultry, and yeah, I saw her, you know, her figures going up. So we are not just here to talk, but just to leverage and understand how this works. Now, I'll start off with, just to bring you to speed. Kampala has 57 slums, just so you know. So if you come from the 5 divisions of Kampala, it's more certain that you come from a slum area. Yes, you could come from a gated community, you could be a little bit safe, but your way to your home, what do you see? Ask your neighbor, what do you see on your way home? Ask your neighbor, what do you see on your way home? Now, that smile they're giving you is a clear indication that we all reside either in a slum or we pass through slums to get to our destinations, correct? And I'll start off with Dr. Muhumuza, leveraging and making sure that these slum or the ghetto economies could possibly spark to the next level. Dr. Muhumuza, from your lenses as an economist, what are you seeing we are possibly not doing right as a country, and how can we do it better?
Thank you, Andrew, and morning, everybody. I want to believe I am in this meeting not just because of the academics or the practice, but also my association with the late Kisamba Mugerwa and the family. I knew him as an academic, but also as a politician, and many other things we've worked together. But most importantly, and I'm glad she's coming in, Mama Kisamba, one of my first assignments out of university as a researcher from the economics angle was done jointly on a team that she was on. And it taught me how to deal with the multidimensional research aspects. I was the economist on that assignment, and she was the sociologist on that assignment. So we come really from far in the very field of research. But that's exactly the point where I want to enter your question. I think one of the things we are not doing right is not to understand that communities are multidimensional. Quite often we go to them with financial services as an economic product. And you forget these have cultures, have sociologies, have religions, have so many things. The poor's lives are very complicated. But the information comes through, we sometimes think they have no money. But scholars have written books about portfolios of the poor and their money. When you really read these books, you begin to realize that the poor may not have money in a pot, and quite often we give them piggy banks, thinking that is where they should save, but they are actually saving in their networks. To a poor person, it's okay to sell their goat, open up their pocket, and pay a medical bill for a neighbor's child. Now, for you from the microfinance, you think you gave them that goat to come out of poverty. Tomorrow when you go back, they have sold that goat to treat a sick child. Now, that's how complicated their lives are. And the child may not even be theirs. But the child is actually of a neighbor, because they know tomorrow when I need money, I will go to that neighbor. So that neighbor's money is my money. So when you talk about the ghetto, and there are 57 of them, you need to see where are these ghetto people coming from. They are partly intertwined with even the communities they left in Amuria, intertwined with the community left in Itoroko. If those people need money, the guy can borrow the money from this circle and actually send it to beef up a business elsewhere. That's how detailed it is, that we're not just supporting the ghetto people here. It's a gateway into so many other poor people's livelihoods. Understanding that will help us tailor the products for them. And I think we are not yet there. Maybe I'll come back to add on that later.
I love the fact that you bring out the context of God is given to help one family to come out of poverty, but it is then sold to help another community. When I come to you, Dr. Rachel, looking at all this, I'm grateful that you went to Witwatersrand University, because with that you could see a lot. You see the divisions where the poor are really poor and the rich are really rich. The minister here said and alluded to the fact that the principles of financial inclusion must be harnessed, and that is bridging the two classes, the rich and the poor. How best can we engage that?
Thank you, moderator. You bring about several aspects there, quite salient factors. In every society, you're going to have the haves and the have-nots.
Yes, absolutely.
But, and what the minister is saying, can we reduce the difference between the haves and the have-nots? That will not go away. But coming down to your question and my observation, even in South Africa, where it's worse than what it is here, we need to begin to look at the have-nots, and that to say the slum dwellers, as people who play an important role in the process of development. For as long as we're going to look at the poor people or the have-nots as people who are a problem in society, then we're not going to sort that out. Coming down to the issue of the pillars of financial inclusion, or the indicators, the access bit, the usage bit, the quality of financial services that we're talking about. And today we see that microfinance is a point of opportunity to begin to leverage on that and the opportunity it brings for the poor people, or the slum dwellers as we speak, to begin to look at them as, you're not going to only focus on businesses or starting micro enterprises, but can you begin to expose them to the wide range of financial services that is going to help them to also participate in the process of development, but also to understand money better. I pick up from where Fred or Dr. Muhumuza, if he would like to speak, that we need to have a multi-pronged approach to say, how do the poor or the have-nots look at money? They don't look at it the same way as they have, okay? When we begin to understand the way they process money and the way they associate with money, then we are going to solve that problem and engage them in the whole process of development, and not looking at them as the problem that is going to widen the gap. So it's a conversation that we need to understand them, or to understand the different segments in society differently, and then prescribe the right medicine or the right initiatives. We're not going to sit here in a high-level conversation and say this is what they need. We actually need to know what they need. The story was on the screen, where we were saying this is what the people want. This is how they perceive money. This is how they perceive development. This is how they perceive the social ties of the glue that puts them together, is that social construction that they have. So, if I may, that reducing the gap between the haves and the have-nots, from a point of microfinance, from a point of government effort, from a point of collecting data, the research in understanding the behavioral aspect there is very, very important. And that's why I started to say that this is a multi-pronged approach that we have to take to move from what each of us thinks and what the actual people of the have-nots actually need to participate in the process of development.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Rachel. That makes a lot of sense. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether you've traveled in your villages. How many of you come from villages where you've seen a BRAC signpost? Maybe on your way home to the villages. Just raise your hand. Don't be shy. See, all of us have seen the signpost of BRAC Uganda. I took time in 2019 to understand the mode of BRAC Uganda, and I don't think there is a model that can help families come out of poverty like BRAC Uganda model. If you've not understood it, find time, read it, understand it, get acquainted with it. Now, James here, you work with BRAC. Your model is unique. I've looked at all the different models, and I think it's one that speaks to the need, like Rachel says, that we need first to understand the lens of the ghetto youth or the ghetto communities and the slum communities, how they envision money. You as BRAC, what do you see from the communities, especially you operate more in the rural settings?
Thank you.
The mic?
Hello? I hope it works.
It's on.
Hello. So, thank you. I think that's very important, first of all. This is the first question, like understanding whom we are working for. So, I think BRAC is built on that philosophy. Let me start with a story, a very amazing story right now, influencing the entire world to answer your question. Like you might have heard a very established BRAC model, UPG, ultra poor graduation. It is one of the most globally researched development model, not only by BRAC, but also by external. So first of all, how did it originate? So BRAC research found that the primary beneficiary of microfinance by BRAC is not reaching to bottom 10. So then BRAC founder Sarfazli Hassan said, I am for them and we are not reaching to them. So what do we do? So we are not meeting our target. So then this program was initiated. What is it? It is an ultra poor graduation program. So ultra poor is graduated to be poor, to enable them so that they can borrow money. Because we are talking here about slum and ghetto economy. And then we are forgetting whom we are working for. So with that, let me highlight two areas. The first area, the loan size. So we are talking to leverage microfinance, to spur ghetto economy. So the first point, the loan size. The current BRAC has a two product, BRAC Microfinance and BRAC Bank. Now we are bank, you know. Two product. One is microfinance, another is small enterprise program, SEP. So under the microfinance, the average loan size of my BRAC Microfinance program is 1.2 million Ugandan shilling. I'm quite sure it is one of the lowest loan size, average loan size. So that's what I want to highlight, that it is not by accident or by incident, it is intentional. The average loan size needs to be as low as you are reaching to that ghetto economy. And then another side, my second point is like understanding that there are people who live in a vicious cycle of poverty, the concept. So addressing one aspect of their problem is not enough, which both of my panelists have talked. So that's why we have a research, even in Uganda, like what we did, we made a 4 arms. In one arm, we served only microfinance. One arm, only agriculture. One arm, only health. And then one arm, microfinance, health, and agriculture. We found statistically significant difference when we leverage with microfinance and other. With my second example, I will finalize my point. The gender dimension. You know, BRAC started the mobile money product, BRAC Uganda, BRAC Bank Uganda. So what we did a research that the loan we give through mobile money, the cash, in place of cash in hand, we give through mobile money. We found significant difference and better performance of the small business holders, business owners, because they are using money through it is all women. So here comes, the name of the research is like resisting household pressure by mobile money. So if you just give money, it is not enough, because he is not only problem with health and problem with education, but also the gender dimension. So the policy implication is that the MFIs should be careful enough to what level of people they are reaching to, and they are still calling themselves MFI. You see, BRAC recently have a partnership with MSC. I'm proud to say that. Why did we partner? Because MSC is reaching to do those grassroots people, and BRAC has multi-sectoral program. And we are conducting a research through MSC and BRAC to understand the gender dimension of BSLA, which is very important. And then second policy implication is that as much as we can leverage with microfinance, we amplify the impact of microfinance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is James from BRAC. Doctor, when he was presenting, I love the fact that he hinted about something called gender inequality. Most of the campaigns and the strategies that have been laid, especially to spur the ghetto economies to come up forward, they have basically looked strongly about the women. And it's not a lie when you go to the, I'll find some time with you and possibly walk with you in a place called Chinamwandu. It's a ghetto area where they cook food that is served in the arcades in Kampala. It's most women, and when you talk to them, they'll say, I got this maybe from Microfinance Support Center and the other credit facility givers. The gender equality issue, when it gets to spurring ghetto economies to come forth, how do we achieve that the men are not left behind? Because the women will be empowered financially, but the little they will make, when they get back home, the men are going to actually use it to go take drugs and, waste it. Even at times it causes gender-based violence. So how